All right, good morning. Nice little foggy morning. It's beginning to get a little chillier here in the deep south. Remember my saying, only the first shot counts in bow hunting. And I guess you need to realize I smartened up a little bit here. And I'm getting a little closer to the target. So the first shot's going to be a lot easier. The closer you get, the easier it is. And then I've got a couple of things I'm going to talk to you about. But I'm letting it come from the transmission tower in the firmament where God lives down to my receiving station. I guess is my pineal gland in there somewhere in the heart of the receiver. Only the first shot counts. All right, I got it. Don't look at it, don't show it. It wasn't perfect, it was a little bit high. Let me tell you what happened. I don't doubt that it was a little bit high. Had a buddy of mine come over here yesterday and brought me a holly bow stave so that I could make a holly self bow. And I gave him a persimmon bow stave so he could work on him a persimmon bow. And we got to talking about the brace height. And I've been messing around with the brace height on my bow. That's from here to here. They say from the deepest part of your handle, which on this bow is just slightly under the shelf. He said it needed to be somewhere around 7 inches. So we went ahead and twisted the string and got it up to 7 inches. And I noticed that immediately that it changed my point of aim, the arrow point, with my gap method shooting. And it essentially brought it so that I need to aim a little higher. At this distance right here, it's pretty much right where I want to hit it. I put it right where I want to hit it. But it does change. So that's why you need to keep this brace height, once you find out what it's supposed to be, consistent. Because your string changes and all that a little bit. Gives you another note of confidence. Okay, so I'm going to tell you another thing. I did go hunting last night. And I told you in the previous videos that the deer around here are beginning to adapt to us people trying to kill them with, most guys are hunting with rifles this time of year. And the deer are beginning to get the message, the ones that are not getting killed. I got a piece of hay down in my shirt because I just threw out hay to the goats. Let's walk up here, David. Now, this right here is about as bad a pattern as you could possibly get at the close distance that I was. So I was not really zeroing in and paying attention. All of those are kills. But at that distance, I should have them within about 2 or 3 inches of the same spot. So I set up my Texas tripod stand last night in a beautiful spot, an urban location, under some oak trees that had become grown up with privet hedge. And the privet hedge had grown up 10-15 feet tall and created a pretty much a maze of branches and all in there under the canopy of the oak trees. Deer love privet hedge. But the deer had browsed off all of the everything down low, and so all it was is the only vegetation on the privet edge is way up there. So, but anyway, it was a beautiful spot. And the deer are coming in there and essentially easing up out of the woods in the afternoon. And then when the sun goes down, they're easing on out into the urban area where people have mowed lawns and they have shrubbery and things that the deer can browse on. And then they ease back. I think I just heard a phone. I guess we got a text message coming in. Now what I wanted to talk about today is I am thoroughly confused about what's going on in the world. Okay, what we're hearing a lot about is Elon Musk. And he has supposedly bought Twitter. And he's going in there and getting at their emails that they've been shooting back and forth. And I guess most everybody's heard about it now. Apparently, Twitter has been colluding with the FBI and some other intelligence agencies, the DNI, CIA, government, Homeland Security, and the Democratic Party to suppress conservative thought or speech. Apparently they were doing it during the 2020 election big time. They were suppressing doctors that were questioning what was going on with this COVID thing. And they did not want anybody questioning it. This one particular doctor, all he was saying was that he thought it was not a good idea to take the children out of school over this COVID. And his reasoning was that children don't get COVID. Well, they suppressed him, shot him down, shut him up. They took away his right to free speech. Now, technically, a company, a private company, like let's say a newspaper, being as it's a private company, they can get away with suppressing somebody's freedom of speech. Like let's just say a newspaper down here, if I took an article that I wrote down there and asked them to print it, and it was something that was against the official narrative, they don't have to print it. And Twitter is apparently a private company, but the problem is government entities were going to Twitter and telling them to suppress people. That became a crime, because the Constitution says that there can be no government entities taking away our right to free speech. The Constitution protects us from the government, not private citizens. So a private citizen can refuse to hear you, refuse to let you write an article on their newspaper and that sort of thing. But the government can't do it. The government, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights was created to protect us from our own government. This stuff's coming out in the news big time now. It's all over the place. And of course they're probably trying to suppress it. Now, Elon Musk, I don't know who the heck he is. I don't believe he's the world's smartest man, and I don't believe he's the world's richest man. When I've heard him talk sometimes, he kind of almost acted like he was just not even a normally smart guy. I think he's some kind of figurehead. I don't know that for certain, but I just don't know how a guy can come from South Africa, immigrate to Canada, and then with just a few years be running around saying he's the world's richest man, and he's sending rockets up and building cars, Tesla cars, and always got his fingers in all kinds of stuff, and building that Neuralink that I talked about yesterday and knows all of these things. I don't think, however, it appears to me that he's being used right now to bring out the truth about Twitter. And you know, they kicked Trump off of Twitter. It wasn't Twitter doing it, it was the government itself, the deep state, the government that had been compromised for years and years and years by getting their crooked minions into office by cheating on elections, by blackmailing people, and all of their crooked stuff. Crooked stuff. I can't make a coherent theory about exactly what's going on. It appears that the good guys, or the white hats they call them, are fixing to expose a great deal of corruption. And now that the Republicans have taken the House of Representatives, they have a huge club in their hand to get at this corruption. The House of Representatives has, as one of their tools, they call it the power of the purse. The House of Representatives is the body that appropriates the money to the government. If you can do that, and if you can keep your body together, your house, then you can use that to get your way, even though the other side doesn't like it, because our government is in debt. And our government must pay its bills or they will get in default. This is how I'm hearing that the House of Representatives is going to expose the corruption. They're not going to let the leftists pass laws that are against the people, like taking their guns away and packing the Supreme Court and so on. Bottom line in this talk right now, I can't tell what's going on. I see good things, but then again, these guys don't give up easy. All right, this is Gardner Israel. Hope I can talk to you later.